You ever stumble across something so deep, so layered, it makes you sit up and go, wait, how have I never heard this before? That's Yoruba culture. It's not just a Nigerian thing. It's not just an African thing. It's global. It's spiritual. It's powerful. And yeah, it's bigger than Africa. Let's paint the picture. We are talking about one of the oldest, most complex cultures on earth. It didn't just appear out of thin air. This is a civilization with real roots. Thousands of years deep. Centered in what's now southwestern Nigeria, but historically stretching far beyond that. The Yoruba weren't just villagers with colorful clothes and drums. These were empire builders, philosophers, poets, astronomers. Their cities, like Ife and Oyo, had organized governments, spiritual systems, architecture, and trade routes that would make medieval Europe look like the warm-up act. And here's the part no one tells you. When the world came crashing in, when colonialism and slavery tried to erase everything, Yoruba culture said, "No, we're not going out like that." Instead, it spread across oceans into new worlds. It slipped past chains and borders, and it embedded itself into the DNA of entire continents. Look at Brazil. Look at Cuba. Look at Haiti, Trinidad, even New Orleans. You'll find Yoruba in the music, in the rituals, in the language. Ever heard of Santeria? Candomblé? That's not coincidence. That's Yoruba religion, reimagined and reborn under new names. It's wild to think that a belief system carried by enslaved people is still shaping spiritual life around the world today. But that's the thing, Yoruba culture didn't just survive. It thrived, and what makes it so magnetic? It's the rhythm, the gods, the colors, the proverbs that drop truth like thunder. The sense that you're part of something ancient, something sacred, something that refuses to be forgotten. Yoruba isn't just history. It's a living, breathing force. And this is just the beginning. Before the world got global, before the first ship ever docked in Lagos, the Yoruba had built kingdoms that rivaled anything the world had to offer. The kingdom of Ife wasn't just a city, it was a spiritual powerhouse. Think Vatican meets Wakanda. It was the cradle of creation, where the gods were believed to have first touched earth. Then there's Oyo, now this one was the flex. Oyo was a political and military juggernaut. They didn't just defend their land, they expanded it. With a cavalry army and a well-oiled government system, Oyo was dominating trade routes, collecting tribute, and influencing regions far beyond Yoruba land. And it wasn't just war and politics, these empires were centers of art, religion, and innovation. Art. Let's talk about those bronze and terracotta sculptures from Ife. Hyperrealistic. Intricately detailed. Stuff that had 19th century Europeans scratching their heads, thinking Africans couldn't possibly make them. Jokes on them, Yoruba had mastered metallurgy, sculpture, and design centuries before colonial boots touched the soil. But it wasn't just about aesthetics. Every carving, every drumbeat, every palace wall was steeped in spiritual meaning. That's how Yoruba culture works. Nothing is random. Symbols speak. Patterns hold power. And every tradition, every ritual, every festival, it's tied to a worldview that's bigger than any one city or king. You see, Yoruba kingdoms weren't just political machines. They were spiritual ecosystems. A balance between the human and divine. Kings weren't just rulers, they were intermediaries between the people and the gods. That's deep. And it gave the culture a sense of purpose that you could feel in every corner of society. So next time someone talks about African civilizations as if they were just tribes running around the bush, just smile. Because Yoruba history laughs in gold, bronze, empire, and legacy. These weren't small players. These were architects of African greatness. And their blueprint. It's still alive today. Now here's where things get mystical. Yoruba spirituality isn't just a set of beliefs. It's a universe. At the center of that universe, the Orishas. Not just gods in the traditional sense, they are forces of nature. Archetypes of human emotion. reflections of everything wild, wise, beautiful, and chaotic in the world. There's Shango, the god of thunder. Charismatic, fiery, powerful, he's the type that commands attention just by walking into a room. Then there's Umoja, mother of the seas, nurturing, protective, yet unpredictable like the ocean waves. Ogun is the god of iron and war, the original hustler, protector, and tech genius. Blacksmiths, engineers, and even surgeons vibe with him. Each Orisha has a domain, a color, a rhythm, a favorite food. They are worshipped not out of fear, but out of respect. Connection. Alignment. If Christianity has saints and Hinduism has deities, Yoruba has Orishas, and trust me, these ones show up. You don't just pray to them. You live with them. Through ritual. Through drumming. Through dance and offering. It's a full-body experience. And what's mind-blowing? This spiritual system traveled across oceans, smuggled in songs and ceremonies, kept alive in the Americas even when it was outlawed. It adapted. Hid behind Catholic saints in Cuba. Wore new clothes in Brazil. But the heartbeat. Still Yoruba. And today, more people than ever are turning back to the Orishas, not just for religion, but for identity. For power. For roots. Artists invoke them. Activists draw strength from them. Communities gather to honor them, not in temples, but in homes, forests, rivers, and street corners. It's not mythology. It's a living system. And it makes Yoruba spirituality one of the most dynamic, global, and enduring systems in human history. You don't just worship the Orishas. You vibe with them. And they vibe back. Yoruba isn't just a language, it's a vibe. It dances, it teases, it teaches. It's tonal, meaning the same word can mean 5 different things depending on how you say it. And yes, that makes it wild to learn, but once you get the rhythm, pure poetry. This language carries the weight of wisdom in just a sentence. Yoruba proverbs. Man, they don't play. They're like tweets from the ancestors, quick, sharp, and brutally honest. Stuff like, the child who washes his hands will eat with elders, or the river that forgets its source will dry up. These aren't just quotes. They are life instructions. Warnings. Encouragement. Social commentary wrapped in elegance, and it's not just in speaking. Yoruba is a language of music. Literally. The talking drum mimics speech tones so accurately that it can send full messages across villages. Imagine a drum gossiping, preaching, praising, and everyone understands. That's Yoruba innovation right there. Today, Yoruba is still one of the most spoken languages in Africa. It's booming in music, Nollywood, even social media. Diaspora kids are learning it through apps, YouTubers are teaching it with swag, and musicians are blending Yoruba lyrics into global hits. It's a living language, constantly evolving. One foot in tradition, the other in the now. And every time you hear it, spoken in a film, chanted in a ritual, woven into a rap lyric, it's a reminder, this culture is not fading. It's finding new ways to speak. Okay, real talk, how did Yoruba culture get from the savannas of West Africa to the sugarcane fields of Cuba? Short answer, slavery. Long answer, resilience. When Yoruba people were captured and sold into slavery, they didn't just carry scars, they carried stories, songs, gods. And they refused to forget them. In Brazil, they created candombo. In Cuba, it became Santeria. In Haiti, Yoruba spirits blended with voodoo. They took Catholic saints and said, alright, if we can't worship Ogun out loud, we'll call him Saint George. That's genius-level resistance. That's cultural survival. And it didn't stop there. Music evolved. Drumming patterns shifted but stayed connected. Yoruba chants were reborn in samba, salsa, jazz, hip-hop. That signature spiritual energy, the call and response, the dance rituals, the sense of presence, you can feel it in carnivals, in street parades, in church services from Rio to Port-au-Prince. Even in America, Yoruba culture showed up. It hid in the blues. It whispered through New Orleans voodoo. It shaped the roots of Black American identity in ways we are only just beginning to unpack. Now in the 21st century, the story is coming full circle. People from the diaspora are flying back to Nigeria, tracing roots, learning Yoruba, reconnecting with the culture that colonization tried to sever. They are not just visiting, they are returning. And back home, Yoruba creatives are exporting music, fashion, film. Afrobeat artists are selling out stadiums. Yoruba phrases are showing up in global slang. The Orishas are on magazine covers. The culture isn't being discovered, it's being recognized. Yoruba didn't just travel. It transformed. And now, the world's catching on. You can't talk Yoruba without talking style. Let's start with the basics, Agboda. That massive flowing robe with intricate embroidery. Yeah, it doesn't just say fashion. It screams royalty, confidence, vibes. Then there's the geli, that towering, gravity-defying head wrap. It's not just an accessory, it's a crown. Yoruba fashion is bold, expressive, symbolic. Colors matter. Patterns speak. What you wear tells a story about your tribe, your mood, your occasion. Even beads carry meaning. Red coral beads, for example, aren't just pretty, they are sacred. Royalty. Protection. Legacy. But Yoruba art goes way beyond clothes. It's in sculpture, wood carving, beading, body art. It's in the sacred marks worn during festivals. It's in the shrine paintings that pose with divine energy. Art isn't for decoration, it's communication. It connects the physical and spiritual, and today, Yoruba aesthetic is a global trend. Designers are drawing from it. Rappers are rocking it. Beyoncé and Burna Boy aren't just borrowing, they are channeling Yoruba energy in their visuals. From runway shows in Paris to film sets in Hollywood, Yoruba design is flexing hard, and it's not superficial. It's powerful. Yoruba art has always been tied to identity, history, resistance. During colonialism, masks and sculptures were stolen, then displayed in museums like exotic trophies. But now, Yoruba people are reclaiming that narrative. Reclaiming their art, their voice, their image. This culture doesn't just look good. It feels like something ancient wrapped in modern glow. It's timeless, royal, real. So here's the final truth bomb. Yoruba culture isn't stuck in the past. It's evolving, expanding, reinventing itself every day. There's a whole new generation of Yoruba creatives, scholars, priests, and dreamers remixing the culture like a beat. On TikTok, teens are teaching Yoruba proverbs with swag. In Lagos, Afrofuturists are blending Orishas stories with science fiction. In New York, Yoruba-rooted artists are creating virtual temples. It's ancient wisdom with Wi-Fi speed. Spiritual revival is everywhere too. Diaspora kids are turning to Ifo divination instead of horoscopes. They are consulting Babalawas, learning the chants, honoring ancestors. Not because it's trendy, but because it feels like home. Like truth, music is pushing limits. Fashion's gone global. Language is spreading. And the internet. It's just helping Yoruba voices amplify across every border. From streetwear to sound design to cinema, Yoruba culture isn't just influencing the world, it's leading it, and the coolest part. This isn't just about nostalgia. It's about the future. Yoruba isn't fading into the museum. It's lighting up runways, stages, screens, and hearts. It's not just a story of survival, it's a story of dominance. Of rebirth. Of a culture that never stopped speaking, and now, the world is finally ready to listen.